And a deal has been reached to let Cuban baseball players sign with US teams despite tensions between the countries. It means that the players won't have to defect now from the communist-run nation and leave illegally to play in America. Officials say they hope that this deal, which is between the US Major League Baseball, MLB, and Cuba's Baseball Federation, will end player trafficking from Cuba. And it's a nation which traditionally produces some of the best players in the world.
Thanks very much, Shabnam. Well, let's continue talking about that. Major League Baseball, called LMB, you'll see it abbreviated too. And the Federation, as Shabnam was saying, they have this deal, so US can sign Cuban players. Let's bring in Daniel de Malas, a journalist with ESPN and a Cuban baseball blogger based in Minnesota. Daniel, you're very welcome to the programme.
Hello, how are you doing?
Is it chilly in Minnesota this time of year?
It is cold.
That's what I thought.
Very cold.
That's what I thought. Now, for our listeners that are not that familiar with baseball or don't follow it, Cuba, we should say, it is a powerhouse when it comes to baseball.
Yes, it is. Actually, it's a national pastime, national sport back there in Cuba. And this is like a dream come true for several generations that has waited for seeing their, let's say, their neighbor, their friends, their family playing in the majors without risking their life, without risking incarceration, actually, back in Cuba, if they're trying to defect.
Because Cuban players, they would have been very recognizable within Major League Baseball. There's been so many that have played for America already.
Yes, actually it is. Actually, you have right now playing Jose Abreu, Yasiel Puig, Aroldis Sharman, Yoenis Cespedes, all of them with multi-million deals and superstars in the teams. And before you got Orestes Miñoso, I don't know, Orlando Hernandez, Livan Hernandez, Jose Contreras, superstars, all of them. But somehow right now you can have anybody playing in the majors as long as you have the talent. You don't need to defect the country. This is like a super great news. This is a Cuban baseball D-Day.
But you know what I started thinking, Daniel? Because they will come and they will sign for probably multi-dollar deals, etc. But what will happen to Cuban baseball? Surely this is going to decimate it.
No, actually, it's the other way around.
How come?
Somehow, you will always not have superstars. You will have regular players, and somehow they will come back and play. But they will come back and play back in Cuba with more experience. Like, oh, you know what? I train in these facilities of the best baseball in the world, and I learned this and I learned that, and they can pass that experience to the teammates.
And what's it like in Cuba? I mean, we know in America the sports facilities, you can even go to sometimes a regular high school and it can be phenomenal sometimes what they've got, we'd say, when it comes to batting cages, you know, places to practice baseball, all the gear, all the equipment. What's it like in Cuba?
It's unless you're playing for the national team, you have a hard time to get all of that equipment, all of that facilities. Actually, when we are talking about very early ages, let's say 10 years old, those players, the parents have to buy everything. It's very difficult.
There also used to be, sometimes controversial, Cuban kids that would come over and play baseball, like in the little leagues in the United States. Does that still happen?
Yes, actually the Little Leagues happen every year, but Cuba is not part of that agreement anymore. I believe that this agreement that happened yesterday will open that door again, because kids, Cuban baseball is a very powerful source of the sport in the world, and you get Cuban players on every different, let's say, category. They will somehow represent the country very well.
So you see this all as a positive that will be happening. What do you think we should watch for next when it comes to, is there a particular person that you have your eye on?
I believe, some of us believe that the best player right now in Cuba, still in Cuba, not with attached with MLB, is Alfredo Spine, which actually played in Japan. And somehow he's still young. He's 33 years old, and I believe he can make the jump from Japan to MLB. Legally now, and he could be a superstar. At least he had 3-4 years that he can show up what he's made of.
So basically, diplomacy through baseball, connecting countries.
Yep.
Lovely speaking to you, Daniel. Stay warm in Minnesota. Definitely a little bit warmer down in Cuba right now. That's Daniel de Malas, journalist with ESPN and Cuban baseball blogger based